Okay, we're live with Zoe,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be looking at Zoe's Saturn in the 10th house, Aries. Woo! Okay, let's begin. The 10th house is the house of authorities. So, like, people that are above you, like your father, your mother, your teachers, your bosses. What is your relationship to such people historically?
Historically, actually really good. Teachers, I always had good relationship with teachers. With my mother and my father. My father is very old school, authoritative, I would say. Um, and but yeah, I think with them it was a good relationship, but um I think I could see with my friends, they saw their parents like, oh, they are my friends. My parents are like equal, like friends. We have conversations like that. And with my mother, my father, that was not usual. But we had to grow into like I put a lot of effort in that relationship to get to know them as as the person that they are. But it wasn't that that I had to go a lot of energy into that.
Why? Can you give an example of?
Because they are not anymore, but before more closed off. So things that I wouldn't talk about, and I like to talk about things. So I would ask questions. Because my parents are from Suriname, and I am from but they went to the Netherlands, and I grew up there. So I didn't know the world that I grew up in. So I started to ask a lot of questions, but there were things that they are not used talking about. So that took years of gentle, uh, like little bit by little bit to get that side of them too. And y- yeah, what more? With bosses, but yeah, with bosses and with teachers, overall, I have a good relationship. Respect authority. I think as a child, I was very much like listen to the teacher. I would do what I want to do good. I
Mhm.
during classes. So I respect the teachers, and in return, the teachers also respect me and see and guide me in a way. So I always had a good relationship with authority.
Okay. What do you do for work currently?
I'm a student. I went back to studying. I'm doing art and economics. And for my Erasmus program, I went to Portugal to do cultural programming and production. So, yeah, it's the organizational, for my study, you can see it as the organizational part of the cultural sector.
Organizational part of the cultural sector.
Yeah, it's very broad, like the study is very broad, and you really have to focus and give it a direction yourself. And right now,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So now I'm working with an art collective to see how can we, what is the creative process of artists from different disciplines, and how can you guide that and keep that creative energy um, going so it doesn't disperse after you're.
Okay, now I'm hearing the Saturn in Aries. I'm starting to. Because Aries is about the creative energy, the impulse to make something happen, whereas Saturn is the one to sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you explain more? So, you want to help them keep making art or what?
Yeah, I think it's out of a desire from like what I myself went through. I also went through art school, and there's this idea that after art school people go into like this black hole because the structure of school disappears. You don't have to work towards like assignments, projects that have been chosen to you, but but you're not yet a professional artist in a way that you're being asked to work in galleries or whatever. So there's this in between phase, and it is like all over different disciplines. So for me, with this school, I really I could see that. So what would be a solution for that? And I think it's the having a structure for creativity to like host open tables where people talk about, I don't know, is it what in the creative process could go better. So there are open tables. We host excursions, and in the summer, in August, we will go to Italy to host a summer camp. So people will bring a project, and then we lock in during the day and have free time during the night. But this is the first year that we did it, and it will be part of my um, end project for my school, for my end research. So this I will see it like in three phases, and this is the first season that we did that. Something like that. So now we are figuring out the blueprint of this collective, but you can see it as a shared toolkit.
Uh-huh. So the point of the collective, as I understand it, is you bring artists together who
Hmm.
are in between school structure and gallery structure, and they have to kind of figure out their own structure of creativity. And so it's
I,
about
yeah,
maintaining a practice and keep going
yeah,
and find a structure in between.
yes.
Okay, very interesting. So do you
I
hear the
gave
sound?
I gave galleries, but I like it's we have people from different disciplines. So music has their own things, but then also documentary makers. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, no, it's good. So do you see the Saturn in Aries there
Oh,
in
I
this?
always feel the Saturn, and but I think I recently begun to see where the Aries and the entrepreneurial sides, and I need
Okay,
my own thing.
that's right. That's right. Okay, so you are an entrepreneur, kind of, or?
Yeah, I think I pushed it away for a long time. This is also what I'm studying now. I'm now 29. When I was 18, I went to the same studies, but I was like, fuck economics, hippie lifestyle, money is not important. But then I did my own development. I did a lot of things, and then I came back to the study. I was like, it's not about the money. Like the money is a way to do it, um, but it's yeah. I don't know. I find a lot in this study that I try to do with the other things because it gives structure to ideas and to visions, and I can have like a lot of visions. But how do you communicate that properly? So yeah, I feel
Hmm. And who are you in this project? Are you just, did you think of this project or because you said this is the first year of that as well, right?
Mhm.
Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, yeah.
And who made, is that the school that invented that, or is that you, or is that somebody else?
Us. So I would say there are three people that really made it from the ground up. But I think, and also I can see like I had this vision of a bigger project that I want to do. Like that is what I'm like working towards to, and I always had. And also when I was younger, I need to have like a bigger vision or a bigger plan, like set 5 years from now or 10 years from now, and then I can guide my all my steps like little
Mm,
by little along the way. So I was talking about this vision that I had with my school with a colleague of mine. We were working at a theater at the time, and he was like, "Zoe, this is really great. I have this vision for my practice, and it comes like it somewhere it aligns, but out of a different discipline." And we said we need to let's stay in contact or whatever. And I think a year after, because he left, he did something else. We went for a coffee, and we were starting. We talked again about our projects, and we're like, we just really need to do it. We can feel there's a lot of energy. We need to come together because what we do actually aligns, just in different disciplines and crossover. So it started out of our own necessity for us, and also I think with an art collective, the open tables that we're doing came because after art school I left and I was like, I miss the conversations that you have with your other students because it really creates this like synergy together to see your own things out a different perspective. You learn a lot more from the input of other people. So I started to do the open hosting open tables like that. Um,
okay.
yeah.
This is making me think a lot about the opposition with Mars and Libra because of all the cooperative elements. Like I see you're not working on your own at all. Like part of this is obviously entrepreneurial. Part of
Hmm.
it is clearly like partnership, being with other people, starting this project together, constantly bouncing ideas off of each other, making decisions together, right? So now I kind of see that the Saturn obviously it's not happening on its own. It never would. I just wanted to bring in the Mars because I found it very relevant. But even the fact of this happening during your Saturn return in Aries, right? And it's a
Yeah.
completely new idea, new enterprise. Nobody's made it before. This is your guys' fresh thing. So in that, I'm feeling the Aries very much. It's something that doesn't have legs, but you came up with it and you're making it happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of like your first career project.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
I also have Mercury in Pisces if I talk and I just go.
What do you mean?
Sometimes I tell stories and
Yeah,
I
you're
like,
yeah,
am
totally.
I answering the question?
Oh, you totally are. Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking about the Pluto as well, because you had brought it up first, right? So
Yeah.
Pluto sitting in your fifth house, Sag. That makes me think about all the different disciplines of artists that you work with.
hmm And also, I think what we also try to do with this art collective, Sunstroke, it will be in the future, um, is that it's to not like differentiate between like the human aspect and the creating aspect. So to be the best artist, you need to go into like the internal process of your own practice. And this, for me, this few months with the programming that I did or whatever, I think my creative process always has been very transformative and had pushed me in ways that I like in different environments that I had to completely deconstruct my own idea of myself and how I relate to other people and to find like structure in that again and to zoom
Can,
out and zoom in.
can you
But
give an
always
example? Just
let's I think right now, but it's not really fun. It's not a fun example. But for what I recently went through, I went to Erasmus. I did a programming, and I was like, I need to. I was writing a lot about how to create a space that is. I think what I want to do is create spaces where you can shift and transform. I think programming, like you're guiding, you're when you do an exhibition, you're guiding a lot of energies, and you want to create a shift in how people are relating to the environment. You're creating uh how do you call it? Not I don't want to say illusions, but I really had a problem with art in the beginning because it was like it doesn't feel like we're creating something real. I want to create out of space that is um authentic or that has like value. And during this program I was writing about like sacred spaces and how do you transform energy. And during this course, one of the other students, we okay. First, we were hosting an exhibition as a goodbye party. That was already planned, and then one of the students she passed away, and then we had to rethink. Okay, how are we gonna give this program or this goodbye party, this last exhibition, structure because it has a different like loads of energy now. Like now we're not only working with our own grief, but with a collective grief, and how do you do it in a respectful way? So then we also had to talk to the school and to there were psychologists like available to us to talk about the experience, and I learned a lot. I think we hosted a really beautiful exhibition. There was a professional development, but also a personal one. But again, very uh, this transformational or just really big things happening in creating something. And this is just yeah, I don't know. This happened like 2 months ago. You know what I mean?
okay. Yeah, for me, what I'm really feeling is kind of this the aspect that you have between all the outer planets.
Mm-hmm.
Because notice they're at early degrees and they're all connected. And this makes me think about how you're working on projects that are involving not just you as an individual living your life, but many, many people are in that, right? Like you're creating collectives
Yeah.
and you're thinking about working in art galleries and transforming the way that people think and see. And so your vision is kind of more of a collective vision.
Yeah, always.
Okay, see, so therefore I'm feeling all the outer planets being connected in your chart because the outer planets rule things that many people are a part of, right? They're collective experiences, the outer planets.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because usually when I talk with people, it's a lot about their personal life and what they're personally experiencing. But with you, the conversation went a very different direction.
Mm-hmm.
More like thinking about these big projects that you put out into the world and lots of people are participating together with you. Does that make sense to you?
That makes so much sense. And I think that collective part was always there. Like before it was our collective, it was like Family Matters or whatever, my role in that. And I really think that that's during this like Saturn retrograde, it's also I really had to come to terms from I can make decisions like selfish decisions from what can I do in this and how do I it's not like I'm starting to look now to my own role and to fine tune and shape and like to work on myself, but it's always like the health and the like the health of a collective is always where my mind goes first in a way.
Okay. That makes me think a lot about your Jupiter in Aquarius.
Yeah, and I think also in my own practice, um, I always had the story of Suriname because my parents are from Suriname, was the colonies of the Dutch, but not a lot of people outside of the Netherlands and Suriname know about this. But then I see if people don't know your story, you can tell it yourself. And but how do we guide this energy? Because a lot of what people do in Amsterdam, I think, is really valuable. But how can we guide this energy into something valuable? And I think that is why I started doing art and economics and all those things because of that vision. But it's also again a very collective story that you're working with.
How can you do something that is valuable with how can you guide the energy? So guide the energy into what? Guide the energy of artists into a
Mhm.
place that already. So, okay, the way I'm seeing it now is like you have these artists and they're just producing art, but that art has nowhere to go. And so it just kind of. So what is it? What are you guiding the energy toward? Because in that I'm feeling the Saturn and Aries, right?
Mhm.
Guiding
Yeah,
energy,
yeah,
guiding impulse, giving a structure to people's need to create.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think like my role, well, like is the hosting part of it, but with my studies as um, arts and economics, but now the programming, and I want to go more into visual anthropology. It's like hosting the spaces, but it's not that it's like we're. I think it's what we like to do is to have like a sustainable place for artists to come back to, and for some it is like producing and like it's not that we are like the platform to show people from oh these are artists and they all work under the same name and we are the collective has they work under this collective name, but that it's a tool for the artist from okay this part of my creative process I would like to put it here to develop to see to have that it's a collective reflection to go deeper into that. So it's not, maybe it will turn later into the future more of a production team when people are more like up to steam, me as well, and setting things into real reality. But for now, it's making it sustainable and efficient and a place that you can grow your own practice.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
see it as a collective tool and not as a name. That's yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
And because there's so many different disciplines, like I would go more into like the museum world or more I think visual anthropology is now really in my mind because it's also then you have the visual side of it but also doing the research about collective of people or like doing
Yeah, I'm feeling your Jupiter again in Aquarius. Right, because Aquarius is the collectives, the anthropology, total human knowledge, how people organize, the way people bring something together and create like a social hierarchy of some kind.
yeah, that sounds like something I would want to study. Sorry to bring all the outer planets into it while you said you're staying out of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because your chart is organized in an interesting way that most aren't. So it's immediately recognizable,
Mm.
at the level at which you're operating. Okay. But again, I feel the Saturn and Aries especially because these are people that are getting just started into the world and they're not sure what to do, and so you give them a structure. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's
Many
the
people I think are looking for that.
yeah, I think so too. Because it's also you hear it a lot around. Like I grew up in Amsterdam, so you talk to people and they creativity people are at a certain point you in different creative fields you feel the blockage. So
Yeah.
if there's a but if there's then it's my thinking if there's a problem there's a solution, and sometimes like you if there's a solution then you need to do it, and sometimes it can
Okay,
feel
yeah. So
yeah.
there I'm also feeling Saturn and Aries in your 10th because you take it upon yourself very naturally to go ahead and produce these projects, to put
Mm,
something out. So you're the one to get it started and then to also make sure that it gets going. And then but now I'm also feeling that because it's Aries, that after it gets started and it has a life of its own, you'll move on to a different project. So you're kind of there for the beginning. Do you feel that?
yes, because we started this, we had the visions, we had everything like put into like documents, visions, whatever, making the website. And when they really started the first season, what did I do? I went to Portugal to do a Erasmus for half a year. And I do have like bi-weekly meetings, but I'm not there the first season, like physically there. Like I come back and I bring my own visions and my own ideas and my, how can we, but then it's again, like what do I bring back? Like it's the international perspective because now I met a lot of people from around the world. You have more own overview there. So it's this next level with all the ideas and all the visions that I find really interesting. So I think it indeed will be something that will be happening again. Yeah, I like new projects because I can really
Yeah.
all there. Like it's also like the transformative thing maybe with Pluto, with the fifth house. If there's a project and I need to feel my heart needs to be in it, I it's completely I do it good or I don't do it at all. I don't know if that's something with Saturn or there's also some
Yeah.
Capricorn.
Yeah. Totally. And I again just feel the Aries very much. It's
Mm,
about bringing something, it's taking the first step to actually establish something, make it real,
yeah,
and then pass it off to someone.
yeah.
So that feels very much okay. What would you say are kind of your big challenges?
Big challenges. I think mm, I I I think in the beginning, like the collective thing doesn't come out of nowhere. I think it comes out of my family structure, like having like feeling responsible or like the energy of the family really impacted me. Uh,
How? That's interesting.
uh, and I really had to um, disconnect from that. Not disconnect. It's not disconnecting. Really find my own, like only feel how I feel. That was really a challenge that I had to learn. I during the pandemic, I lived in Peru for 2 years by chance. By I just didn't came back, but it was the first time that I was really far away and I didn't know. I didn't have my family there. Amsterdam, everything is very close. Like it's a big city, but it's also very small. Like you can do everything on your bike. So it doesn't matter where you are, you always have someone that you know somewhere close by. But to be alone and to only feel the feelings that feel and to be guided by my own compass and listen to that, that was something that I really had to learn. And I think during these last couple of months, from okay, I need to make decisions that or I can let myself make decisions that are on that are good for me. And at first I saw it as selfish, but it's not selfish. Like I need to feedback to myself.
Uh-huh. So,
So
like
yeah,
in the first part of your life, you weren't really allowed to make your own decisions.
I mean I maybe we come back to the authoritative way because my mother and my father I could do anything, but school always came in the first point. Like school is the most important. and I am very disciplined. So I thought school was the most important thing. So I could do things, and they would support me in that. And I think I am. But it was also like your parents, they come from another place and then they go into the Netherlands. So the path forward is through education. That is how, that is how you make a step forward in life, and that they wanted to give it to me. But I think what I'm doing now, because I'm having my professional progress, but I'm also doing things that I find that are really fun. Like I love side quests. So they also see that. So it's also breaking open the idea of what is possible, what you can do. I can see that with my little cousins, that they ask me questions like, "Oh, how did you do this and how do you do that?" From like, I'm by me going through the world, I'm also opening that world. Uh, so by having fun,
Uh,
I'm also still. I don't want to say productive, because it's not. Life is not about being productive, but it feels that way. So I think a challenge for me would be actually to enjoy the labor and all the things that you're doing right now. From, okay, I'm in a place right now, and I can see like what I worked for. You can enjoy this and release a little bit.
mhm. Because normally you feel tight and like you have to do a lot of work, and you're kind of
Yeah, but
like,
I
I
don't
see
even
you like
see it
one of
as.
those people that is like very focused, and you're like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? That's what I'm
Yeah,
hearing from the family structure that was imparted on you, is like
yeah,
the responsibility to keep things going.
yeah. But I don't even feel like the heavy burden of responsibility. I just do it naturally.
Right, right. You don't have to. Yeah, it's just about
Yeah,
the fact that you do it.
I do it, and then
Okay.
yeah, and then I get in positions to do that again. So during my studies with art and economics, I told my teacher what I want to do, and I was a little bit older when I started, and so I told her, I need challenges, otherwise I will get bored, and I found this and this interesting. Like I
Okay,
thought,
yeah, now I'm seeing you working in like again in projects. Like you start a project and then it's hard work and you keep making it happen, then the project is over. And it's like, whew, okay, let's take a minute. And then it's like, let's do the next project.
yeah,
Whoa, 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 like being at
yeah,
war almost, you know?
yes,
Because you just have to take every step and every day there's something new and you're like, let's go, let's go.
yes,
Okay.
actually, yes. I don't know if I love the struggle, but I like to find solutions to problems.
Yeah, okay.
I can see the under. I think I can see the underlying. I mean, you can say a lot of things, but underneath, I can see the underlying. Like, where do we need to go in? Where do we need to get deeper to transform that? To have this visual, like to go to transform it and to have this growth or this change.
It's better
Um,
when you if you tell also like a story that accompanies it, that illustrates it, like
yeah,
grounding it in a very specific example of something that you've experienced.
yeah. About um I find it difficult because some of the processes are just really long processes, that so I mean, for example, I think like when I went to art school, I was making a lot of things about the jungle. Like the teachers were like, "What? Sorry, why the fuck? Stop making things about the jungle." But there were stories that are just keep on. I needed to make it. I didn't have another choice than to make it. Like it's like when you this okay, this is something that's inside of me. Just find out what it is. And that's also when I started to ask a lot of questions about like to my family, about my family.
Because they're from the jungle, kind of.
From the jungle, from Suriname. Suriname is a lot of jungle, and then you have the city. So it's not that they lived in the jungle; they live in the city. But Suriname is it's part of the Amazon. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Um, and at a certain point, I stopped with art school because I felt disconnected from the people that I was actually like working with, or like you have this there's this certain layer in art school that's a little bit pretentious, like we're creating and it's elitist way in an elitist form, and I had issue with that, or I didn't feel like I was connecting myself to something that I didn't connect myself with it. Like I feel the value of creation, but it's not the environment that I can grow into. So my teacher, I really liked him, still in contact. He said, so I think social design, or maybe you need to do like an art teacher course, because then you're working with children, then you're working with a collective again. So I did that. But the structure of school is very rigid to me, and I don't find the freedom in that. So I don't,
Uh-huh. So you
yeah.
weren't allowed to like also cooperate freely with other students or
No, with the children. So I would be there with the children, and I would have like really good connections one on one with them, and we would go into that. But you have the responsibility of it. I don't know. I'm not a teacher in that way. There are a lot of things that you need to think about as a teacher. But I think one on one with people, I'm good. We can get into like what are you thinking? Where does it come from? Because I do that with myself the whole time. So by that point, my dad told me, I'm going to Suriname for 3 months, for 6 months, with my brother, because he just went with retirement, and I was like, I'm not going to get this opportunity anytime soon. So I went with him to Suriname, first to see his side of the country, but also to form my own relationship with a country that I know from stories, that I know through our food, through through visuals or whatever, but to really ha- create my own connection with a place that I know but also don't know. And during that travel, like after that, I went to Peru, and the whole pandemic happened, and I stayed there for 2 years to have this individual, to really I think the most valuable thing that I got from it was to trust myself and to feel my own emotions and not like feel the feelings from everyone, my family that is feeling the things. So, for example, during that time, my uncle passed away, and I was part of. I mean, I'm gunning with them, but I could see my family grieving as a collective together, and I did my grieving, but then alone on the other side of the world. But I think that was necessary because there were losses in our family before, but then I would feel, if I was there, I would absorb everything, like all the emotions, all the things. And I I was really young when someone else passed away, so I didn't really had this boundary of like feelings from you and feelings from you. I was 4 years old or something, so it's almost that I had to reset my internal boundaries and like my sense of identity, by going through that period of 2 years, like being alone. And I was still not alone. I also get adopted by families. I don't know. It's a thing that I was living with a family in Peru. So I wasn't alone, but I had to go through collective emotions alone. And that was transformative.
uh-huh. I was feeling the Pisces very much because of what you did. Like you traveled a lot to these foreign places. Your parents come from a foreign place. You're in art school developing all kinds of different ideas with people.
Mhm.
So the Pisces was coming very strong for me. And then the Saturn and Aries. Okay, let's pause here for today because I have a meeting in like 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's interesting. You know, you're a very first of all, you're a very fast talker.
Really?
Yeah. You process information very quickly. Right, and
Oh,
you there's a lot going on. Like I can see you have so much kind of,
yeah.
and I can imagine sometimes it's maybe hard to even organize everything that you're feeling and you want to put out into the world, and it's like where do I even put my energy because I'm so
It sometimes feels, now I'm looking back at it, like there's so much. Like I all this what I'm telling you right now, these visions were there already when I was in art school. And my teacher was like, Zoe, this is too big of a project. You cannot do that now. So I had to find a way to have these visions into like to create it into reality. But this world is going way slower than I am, because you need to work with the material stuff. So like doing economics or the organization part, it's not because I have this love for money or maybe structure, yes, but it's because I can now guide my visions in a way so they become real. But my mind is already like 5 steps ahead or 5 years.
yeah.
I need to work with reality to make that happen. But I feel like I'm like tip tapping like all around, you know?
Exactly. I feel that about you as well. But I see the Saturn return as well on two fronts. One of them is that you had to wait because, for example, your teacher told you that this project is too big for right now, right? So you have to cope. So there I feel the Saturn that you have to wait until Saturn returns in the 10th house. And then also that now you're working with materializing things, making
Yeah,
them real in the real world. And that has, yeah, you have to take every little step one at a time, even though you want to rush ahead. So that makes me think about the Saturn in Aries as well, that you're ready
yeah,
to go, 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 go. But the amount of progress that you can make has to happen just incrementally.
yeah. And have patience, and like I want to do things for like sustainable things, you know? That's I don't want to make something and then leave it at that and then I just go on to the next. I love new projects, but I want to make it good and leave it.
Stabilize them. Exactly. Yeah. And then scale.
And I think that's a new phase in my
And I
project.
can also see how, like, your life, at least as I heard it here, like, you are you love to be in the real world
Yeah.
and create things in the real world that other people can be a part of. And so
Hmm.
it's not like you're hidden at home dealing with just with family things or whatever. You're a visionary kind of, and you want to
Yeah.
make things happen. There I feel Saturn in your 10th house very much also in Aries.
Interesting. Because I always thought it was the Pisces. You know, that it's this ID, the visions and the creativity. But I think now I'm starting to realize like the Saturn and the Aries that's also a visionary
Yeah,
aspect.
and is the one to make things happen, right? Yeah. Okay, great. All right, I'm gonna stop recording here.
Okay, very fun. Thank you.
Sure.